You know, some of the world's biggest brands have secrets, things they'd rather you didn't know. Well, today, we're diving into one from a company you see every day, a piece of their history they've actively tried to make disappear.
I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. This is Starbucks we're talking about. They're on practically every corner. What could they have possibly done that was so embarrassing, so off-brand, that they decided to just pretend it never happened?
And here's the wildest part. The secret isn't buried in some dusty old archive. Nope, it's hiding in plain sight, right there on their official website. The real clue isn't in what they show you, but in what they very carefully left out. So, to figure out what they're hiding, we've got to start with the story they do want us to see. This is the official, neatly polished history of their world-famous logo.
Okay, so if you hop on their site, you'll find this timeline. It kicks off in '87, gets a little refresh in '92, and then, whoa, hold on, it jumps straight to 2011. See that? That big empty gap right there in 2008? What happened? Nothing, apparently. The official history is totally silent. Well, as you might have guessed, something definitely happened in 2008. The company made this really bold branding decision, a kind of clever throwback that, well, it ended up being a move they now want everyone to completely forget. The plan was actually pretty cool on paper. For a limited time, they were going to bring back their original logo. And I'm not talking about the one from '87. No, they wanted to go all the way back to their roots, back to the year it all began.
That's right, 1971. In 2008, they decided to revive the OG logo from the very beginning. Seemed like a pretty neat retro marketing idea, right? But they overlooked one very crucial detail about that original design.
And this is where our story takes a very interesting turn. Because when the public actually saw that original 1971 siren back on their coffee cups, the reaction was, let's just say, not what Starbucks was expecting. You see, the original siren was, shall we say, a bit more revealing. As the source material puts it so perfectly, this bare-chested creature was a little too risque for the public to handle. Yeah, turns out people weren't quite ready for that with their morning latte. The negative feedback was immediate and it was loud. Starbucks realized pretty fast they had made a major miscalculation. The whole retro campaign was a flop, and they yanked that 1971 logo almost as quickly as they had brought it back. And this brings us right back to that mysterious gap on their website. Because the company didn't just scrap the logo, they decided to scrap the entire event from their official history books.
This chart just lays it all out perfectly. On the left, you've got the clean, official story they tell you. But over on the right, that's the reality. That brief, controversial comeback in 2008 is the missing piece of the puzzle. It's the story they just decided to leave out.
The whole episode has just been quietly swept under the rug. It's a really fascinating example of how a global brand can literally curate its own history, simply by deleting the parts it would rather you not see. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If a brand as huge as Starbucks has a story like this one, what other secrets are hiding in plain sight in the famous logos that you and I see every single day?